Hello there, my name's Harry from HS Carpentry. Welcome back to another video. Slight delay on getting this video to you, so apologies for that. Been so busy that we've just not really had the time and wanted to make sure we got out some decent content. But anyway, so this is the final instalment of the TV cabinet build. We do the last finishing bits and pieces in the workshop and then take the unit to site and get it fitted and finished up. So in this clip you just see me, I'm just running up the door rails and stiles. Got a little bit of a stop block set up there, so we're just running these up as quick as we can. Keeps everything nice and efficient and make sure everything's exactly the same, nice and square. Start off with a square cut, butt it up to our block and then make a cut, and we know that every one of them is going to be perfectly the same. So now we're just running the rebates through on the back of the doors. We're just using a 9.5mm by 9.5mm cut off on the DeWalt router. Only downfall with using this router is the dust extraction. It's absolutely horrendous, which is why we just live with it and then deal with the cleanup afterwards. So running that round, and then we do the finishing touches there and then.
Okay, so you just saw us running the remaining rebates in the drawer fronts and doors. Now's the time to get our 10mm MDF back panels cut into it. So what we need to do, as you can see, I'm sure you can see that from there. So obviously, as you can see, where the bearing follows round the internal of the front, obviously you're left with a curve. So what we'll need to do is square that off and then obviously cut in our back panel. So we're using obviously the 10mm oak veneer MDF. Reason why we're using the MDF, it's much more stable, especially when it's this thin. So we'll put that in there. We can then glue that in as well, because we know we're not going to get any movement on the MDF. So once we've got that all glued in, we will then fix the fronts and the doors on, and then once they're on, we can then do the mouldings in, which we will do on site tomorrow. So yeah, that's the plan. Square all the corners off and then cut in our panels. Alright, so now it's delivery day. We're doing the rest on site. We've got the rest up so far. We've just got these 3 big lumps now, so we're going to use the forklift to get them straight up into the room.
Okay, so now we've got all the components up into the bedroom, and now is the time to start leveling it off and getting everything fitted up. We had a few issues with the leveling. The floor at the top was completely different to the level at the bottom on the bottom step, but nothing we couldn't get over. We'd very quickly realised once we got the bottom section in level was then out of level with the top step, so made some minor adjustments and got that in the end. Got all the units fitted as they went, but then obviously the camera died, as you'll hear in the next clip.
Okay, so the camera died when we were doing that last bit, but you saw a brief time lapse of us getting all the units in. Now the units are in and the telly is in, everything's set up, ready to go. Tom has managed to figure out the mechanism, so that all comes up now, just a click of a button. What we're going to do is get all of the drawer fronts on the front, on the back, the front, along with the doors as well. Once we've got all of them on, we can then work and get all of the mouldings on the doors and the panelling.
Okay, so yeah, here we all are putting on the drawer fronts and getting everything finished up, all the finishing touches on. So to fit these drawer fronts, we decided to glue them up, screw them on and pin them on. We didn't want any of this to move, obviously it's all solid oak bar the MDF panels, but we wanted to make sure there was going to be no movement whatsoever. And no creaking. Obviously the temperature varies in this room so much, so we just wanted to avoid all of that completely. But yeah, that's how we fixed these on. Then obviously the mouldings covered up all of the fixings, so that was perfect, really. And while we're here as well, just a brief explanation. So with the cameras that we have, having a bit of trouble with the microphones, hence why some of it's on the voiceover and some of it's on the footage that we filmed. But we're looking to get that problem resolved shortly, and we can do it all as and when we're recording the footage. So yeah, but you can see the guys dropping in all of the drawer boxes, make sure that all the runners are working perfectly, and then they'll start scribing in, making any cuts if necessary once they've fitted the drawer fronts, and then get them ready for the panel mouldings that will be installed once obviously all of that's finished up. And I'll just running back and forth, starting off the cockpit and everything else, and getting all the mouldings set ready for the guys so they can get all of that done. Yeah, good bit of teamwork to get all of this finished. Really happy with how this turned out, this one. Yeah, looking forward to showing you how it did come out at the end of the video.
So as you can see here, we've got a couple of the bits of the cop moulding on. We have to scrub this one into the floor. Obviously we have to raise this up a little bit anyway to get it level, so that we obviously, clear the floor, because this step is a little bit out compared to the lower level. So we've got to run the cockpit around. This one's a bit more straightforward because we'll come across here, back down, across the top, over, replicate on the other side, and then obviously we can make our panels up in the middle here. Once we've done that, it will then be paneling the sides. And obviously the centre section ready for the marble top. So this is the cutter that we're using to machine our mouldings up. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can get it from the Trend Direct website. We absolutely love this detail, the cut you get with it is flawless. So yeah, another great little cutter to add to our collection. So a couple of quick close-ups of what the cock moulding looks like. Obviously, as you can see, how we've done the miters around to bring it around the perimeter, around the edges of the doors, and around the door fronts too. So it's really starting to come together. It looks absolutely fantastic. Really happy with what it looks like this far. So like I say, this side is ready for all the panel mouldings on the doors and the panels themselves, and the other side we're going to set you up for a time lapse now whilst we finish off the remainder of the cockpit on this side. The bottom is in up to this point, so we'll run up here now, get this one done, get this side on, then we'll jump over here, finish off this bottom scribe, run up there, come across, and then this is the side ready for panel moulding too.
Okay, so yeah, another clip running on the cock moulding now, which obviously runs around the perimeter as I've explained. So that's just a case of making sure all the miters are nice and tight, everything looks good, and then we're using the Gorilla PVA glue and some 32mm pins to get this fixed on. This is, I think, probably one of the nicest details on this piece. I just love the way that this moulding flows around the unit and just finishes it off absolutely perfectly. So now, as you can see, I'm just fitting the final panel mouldings onto the unit. So again, the client that we built the 4 doors for, obviously this is the same client in the same bedroom, so it was a really nice touch to have the same mouldings on this unit as it was on the doors. And again, the same moulding that's on the doors is obviously the panel moulding, just on a slightly smaller scale and just reduce the thickness of. But again, this is all European oak that this is all done in, and just really adds a nice discreet touch that it's all bespoke and made for that room, and all ties in together but at the same time being an individual and special piece of furniture for our client. So yeah, another really nice touch. And again, with these 4 panels at the back, I had the first idea to mirror the front image and make it look like the 4 doors on the front, which is why obviously we've got the break in the middle with the cup moulding, but then the doors, the 2 panels either side of that look as though they are the doors. They're exactly the same size, and I think it just adds another touch that looks perfect.
Okay, so as you can see, the last piece of the puzzle is to install our mouldings on the doors. We've got all of the drawers complete. Now it's time for the doors. We've done the sides and the other panels that are on the unit itself. Once we've got the doors on and fitted them back up, that's the unit finished.
So yeah, same again, obviously running the panel mouldings through on the doors, just cutting them in, getting them nice and tight, nice size, and then same again, glue, some slightly smaller pins on an angle to make sure we don't come through the back, and they probably would have been okay with just the glue on its own, but we just wanted to make sure that nothing was going to move in the time that it was drying, so I just like to put a couple of mechanical fixings in there. Now, when it comes to making this unit for the client, obviously a lot of rear oak was used, but then some MDF was used, i.e. to make the carcass and obviously the panels for the doors. So our client really likes, to see that it is wood. It's never ever going to be perfect, hence why you'll see the odd knot here and there. But it's just, again, a nice detail that matters to our client to show that real wood's been used and that it is real wood, that wood does grow, obviously having these knots and these slight imperfections and the differences in the grains, and that they're not all identical. It's not a machine or man-made product, so that was very important, hence why we left some of the knots that you might be able to see in there. Obviously it's all down to client specification really. So just to run it through in a little bit more detail, obviously on the back side we have our drawers. So now these drawers are 200mm thick solid oak drawer boxes, which we have dovetailed. As you can see, I wanted them to all be the same piece, so none of the boxes have a lamination in, which is, I think, quite a nice detail in that. All on those soft close tandem runners, which work really nicely. All the panelled fronts, so all the mouldings are the same. The mouldings on the front of the drawers and the front of the doors are the same as the mouldings on the panels, so just a different thickness, which we were able to machine up using the same cutter. Client specification, which matches the doors, which we made in previous videos. You can see that's the French polish we've done. So this moulding is exactly the same as that, and these mouldings are exactly the same, apart from a different size. So a couple of really nice details which really meant a lot to me and the client during the build. So the soft close adding that perfect sort of finishing touch. So plenty of storage around the side, although the customer does have a dressing room. This is predominantly where he'll be storing quite a few bits of clothing and things like that. So that's obviously the back side. You can see the cockpit flowing around all the way, double-ended, to give it sort of a really nice crystal clean look all the way around. No brakes, all miters. So I'm really happy with how this one came out. And I think the marble on the top will be the finishing piece. The marble will come over the top, have a slight round here, and we're going to overhang about 5mm.